Hello everyone. Today we will discuss on federated learning. In this video, I will explain what is federated learning, why federated learning come in industry, and how it is solving real world problems, challenges in federated learning, and how to improve them. So let's start. So this is the overview. What we will gonna cover. So this is the agenda. We will discuss what is centralized machine learning and how centralized machine learning become difficult in real world setting, federated learning workflow, and how this is federated learning fills the gap of centralized ML, and how federated learning fits in this industry, and how it can be used in business, how we can use. So let's start. So basically, traditional machine learning is centralized machine learning. So whatever machine learning we have used, by knowing or not knowing. So mostly all the learning based on centralized machine learning only. So centralized machine learning means this is from this workflow you can understand. So what usually happens is, we have different data sources. It can be multiple mobile phones. It can be hospitals. It can be anything. This is just are the data sources. So what we used to do is we send the data, the raw data, to the centralized server. The server is somewhere else. It can be a case ki this is the our server, and the data is also in this machine only. So this will also consider as a centralized machine learning. So we send data here, we train model here iteratively till the model is not stabilized. After that, we deploy the trained model to the devices or to the wherever we want to deploy. So from after deploying, we used to do whatever the target or whatever the aim we develop this model, the build the model. So, but there are certain issues in this approach we will gonna discuss later. So these are the cons or problems in traditional machine learning, central machine learning. The first one is privacy risks. So what we used to do is, in case of centralized machine learning, we are sharing the raw data to the centralized server. So if someone wants privacy over the data, so this is not possible in this case. As well as if the central server is compromised somehow, then game will be over. So the compliance challenges means most of the sectors like Indian government or is working on defense sector. So they will not want to share their data to the some central server, because it can be data can be compromised in transit. And as I said, if central server is compromised, then game will be over. So trust issues. Let's suppose many organizations are working on working on train some model, and they are working cross organization. So in that case, trust is the main concern they consider. So let's suppose ki, multiple organization are coming together to build as something, but they don't have worked together, or if they have worked together but they have trust issues, like भाई हमको भी relationship में होते हैं trust issues. So तो उस चीज को वो करने के लिए ये भी एक प्रॉब्लम है. The data silos means कि we have data separated geographically. Like भाई इंडियन गवर्नमेंट कुछ करना चाह रही है, बट उसके हर एक बॉर्डर्स पे अलग अलग काइंड के डेटा है, या फिर बहुत ही दूर दूर डेटा है. बट दे वांट टू फॉर इन केस ऑफ सेंट्रलाइज मशीन लर्निंग, उनको डेटा एक सेंट्रल सर्वर पे लाना पड़ेगा और वहां ट्रेनिंग करनी पड़ेगी. सो ये बहुत टफ हो जाए कई बार डेटा को लाना, बिकॉज कम्युनिकेशन कॉस्ट भी लगती है डेटा को ट्रांसफर करने में, नेटवर्क बैंडविड्थ भी खर्च होती है, और इतना पॉसिबल नहीं होता कि let's suppose if you want to do immediately in 1 or 2 days, so it is not possible to pull the all the data wherever is geographically data is located. So that is also concerning, as well as as I told multiple times, centralized data servers creates a bigger attack surface. So how federated learning, what is federated learning, and how federated learning covers these challenges. So this mechanism is introduced by the Google in 2018. So what they did is they approach, they gave solution, and they have used uh, on their own product, like which is very basic, which is very common, you generally using in real life if you are using Android and if you're using Google Keyboard. So basically, Google Keyboard is working on the federated learning. So let's discuss further federated learning. So federated learning is a way to train AI without moving raw data to central servers. So in case of ट्रेडिशनल मशीन लर्निंग हमको क्या करना पड़ रहा था कि हमको डेटा यहाँ सेंट्रल सर्वर पे भेजना पड़ रहा है, बट फेडरेटेड लर्निंग की केस में ऐसा नहीं है. वहां पे फेडरेटेड लर्निंग में क्या होता है कि हम जो डेटा है उसको लोकल सर्वर, लोकली डिवाइस पे रखते हैं, जो अपना डिवाइस है. लेट्स सपोज कि मैं, मेरे पास ये डिवाइस है, ये कुछ भी हो सकता है. तो मैं क्या करूंगा, फेडरेटेड लर्निंग की केस में मेरा डेटा मेरे पास ही रहेगा. यही मैं लर्निंग परफॉर्म करूंगा और यहाँ से डेटा भेजूंगा. यहाँ से जो इसके पैरामीटर्स, वेट, बायस, एक्टिवेशन, एनीथिंग जो भी होगा उसको मैं भेजूंगा सेंट्रल सर्वर पे, जब ना कि डेटा भेजने के बजाय. ओके, सो लेट्स, so this is the I have discussed data stays at the devices only, and it not is usually it not share the data. And the model, this in case of centralized machine learning क्या हो रहा था कि हमारे पास एक ग्लोबल मॉडल था, एक ग्लोबल मॉडल ही ट्रेन हो रहा था सब सब डेटा को लेके. यहाँ पे भी वही सेम चीज होगी, यहाँ पे भी एक ग्लोबल मॉडल ट्रेन होगा जो भी शेयरेबल पैरामीटर्स मिलेंगे उसके द्वारा. ठीक है. Privacy, each participant improve the model locally on its own data. ठीक है. तो क्या होता है कि एक बार जब पैरामीटर्स भेज दिए एक लर्निंग ग्रुप के द्वारा, एक पोक के द्वारा, उसके बाद जब मॉडल क्या करता है कि मॉडल लोकल क्लाइंट्स को वो मिलते हैं, पैरामीटर्स मिलते हैं. वो क्या करता है कि ग्लोबल मॉडल है उस पैरामीटर को एग्रीगेट करता है बाय यूजिंग सम काइंड ऑफ फेडरेटेड लर्निंग मैकेनिज्म. और जो नया मॉडल जो अपडेट होता है वो फिर से क्लाइंट्स के अंदर शेयर होता है. फिर क्लाइंट वहां लर्निंग करता है, लॉस वगैरह कैलकुलेट करते हैं, फिर जो पैरामीटर्स लर्न होते हैं उसको वापस भेजते हैं सेंट्रल सर्वर पे. फिर वहां से ये चीज इटरेटिवली होती रहती है. This is I have told कि learning updates are shared back, not original raw data. Instead of sharing the raw data, raw पैरामीटर्स, मॉडल पैरामीटर्स से शेयर होते हैं. इसमें भी दिक्कत होती है कि रॉ पैरामीटर शेयर कर रहे हैं तो हम क्या करते हैं, एनी काइंड ऑफ इंक्रिप्शन लगा देते हैं इन ट्रांजिट. सो ये उस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व कर देता है. और देयर इज अनदर सॉल्यूशन, वी कैन डिफरेंशियल प्राइवेसी इन दैट थिंग. एंड द सेंट्रल सिस्टम कंबाइन द अपडेट. दिस इज आई हैव डिस्कस्ड. सो बेसिकली ये वर्कफ्लो है फेडरेटेड लर्निंग का. तो क्या होता है कि अपना जो मॉडल है वो यहीं रन होगा, डेटा भी यहीं पे होगा. ये डिवाइसेस कुछ भी हो सकता है, इस डिवाइसेस कुछ भी हो सकता है, हम मैंने जस्ट अलग अलग ले लिया. और इट्स ऑल्सो डिपेंड्स कि जो हेट्रोजीनियस क्लाइंट होते हैं कि होमोजीनियस क्लाइंट होता है, ये अपने यूज केस पे डिपेंड करता है कि कौन सा काइंड ऑफ यूज मॉडल और व्हाट काइंड ऑफ थिंग वी वांट टू वर्क ऑन. सो बेसिकली क्या होता है कि ये इनिशियल मॉडल भेजता है. जो ये सेंट्रल एग्रीगेटर है ये क्या करता है, इनिशियल मॉडल भेजता है. फिर यहाँ पे जो डेटा इनके पास क्लाइंट्स के पास अवेलेबल होता है उस पर लॉस वगैरह कैलकुलेट करते हैं. और जो पैरामीटर्स जो मिलते हैं, वेट, बायस, एक्टिवेशन और एटीसी, वो क्या करते हैं, यहाँ पे जाते हैं. इस सबके सब ये प्रोसेस अपना होता है. फिर ये उनको एग्रीगेट करता है, फिर ये अपडेटेड ग्लोबल मॉडल इनको भेज देता है, फिर ये सेम चीज करते हैं. ऐसे ट्रेनिंग होती रहती है. Okay, so if you have any doubt in this architecture or anything, you can DM me over. I'll give my LinkedIn, Gmail, so you can reach me there by using them. So let's go. So this is the I already discussed. Let's talk in let's fast talk about this. So instead of centralized raw data, it's keep locally. So ऐसा मैंने बताया कि डेटा लोकली रहता है, लोकल ट्रेनिंग होती है, और अपडेटेड पैरामीटर्स ग्लोबल मॉडल को शेयर हो जाते हैं, ठीक है। So instead of forcing full data sharing, it's enable collaboration. So a this is how we do is हम पूरा डेटा शेयर नहीं करते, हम जो काइंड ऑफ जो पैरामीटर्स लर्न हो रहे हैं उनको शेयर कर रहे हैं, तो ये पॉइंट उसको बता रहा है। Instead of depending on only on cloud data, it learn from real operational data. इसका मतलब है कि ये सेंट्रलाइज मशीन लर्निंग के केस में क्या हो रहा था कि हमें एक जगह पे सेंट्रल सर्वर पे ही डेटा भेजना था, वो क्लाउड भी हो सकता है और कहीं वो एक सर्वर भी हो सकता है, वहां पे लर्निंग हो रही थी। तो इस फेडरेटेड लर्निंग के केस में ऐसा नहीं है भाई, हम क्या करते हैं कि लोकली जो हमको डेटा मिल रहा है उससे लर्न करते हैं, और उससे लर्निंग परफॉर्म होती है, जो जो भी ऑपरेशन हम करना चाह रहे हैं वो होता है। सो इंस्टेड ऑफ लिविंग आइसोलेटेड डेटा एंड यूज फेडरेटेड लर्निंग, लेट्स ऑल वन सेम मॉडल। हाँ, तो एक ग्लोबल मॉडल होता है, एक शेयर्ड मॉडल होता है, जिसको जिसको हम पैरामीटर्स भेजते हैं, और वो एग्रीगेशन फेडरेटेड लर्निंग मैकेनिज्म लगा के उसको ट्रेन किया जाता है रिट्रेटिवली। ओके, सो इंस्टेड ऑफ ट्रीटिंग प्राइवेसी एज अ बैरियर, फेडरल लर्निंग बिल्ड्स प्राइवेसी इनटू द सिस्टम डिजाइन। सो इसका मतलब है कि लेट्स सपोज दो तीन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन या फिर एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन वांट टू कोलैब टुगेदर, सो और वी वांट टू वर्क ऑन सम मॉडल, बट प्राइवेसी कई बार हमारा बीच में कंसर्निंग पॉइंट हो जाता है, तो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट रीजन हमें वो चीज करने से रुक जाते हैं, या फिर प्राइवेसी एक्ट एज अ बैरियर। सो फेडरेटेड लर्निंग के केस में ऐसा नहीं है, फेडरेटेड लर्निंग प्राइवेसी बिल्ड करता है सिस्टम डिजाइन में, जो कि हमने बता दिया ऑलरेडी। सो दिस इज दी वन टू लाइन कंपेरिजन बिटवीन फेडरेटेड लर्निंग एंड मशीन लर्निंग। जो सेंट्रलाइज मशीन लर्निंग में क्या होता है, डेटा सेंट्रलाइज फर्स्ट होता है, उसके बाद ट्रेन होता है। फेडरल लर्निंग की कैसे है कि डेटा डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड डेटा पे ट्रेनिंग होगी, और हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड डेटा पे ट्रेन करेंगे, और सेंट्रल सर्वर पे रो डेटा पुल करने के बजाय। सो दिस इज अबाउट हाउ फेडरेटेड लर्निंग फेस इन इंडस्ट्री। सो फेडरेटेड लर्निंग की बहुत यूज केसेस है, हर एक जगह पे हम फेडरेटेड लर्निंग को यूज कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि everyone wants privacy, and no one want to compromise their privacy. So in case of government and the organization, those are working independently, and they are very serious about the privacy and all. So government is the very mm, very first example. So do we can make privacy aware artificial intelligence for public services, healthcare, transport, and the security. And in case of healthcare, mostly the hospitals are working on, in many cases where uh, in many cases where hospital are the very expensive or the good hospitals, they are charging a lot. So in mostly in those hospitals, very rich people used to go. So privacy is applies on everywhere, but the people who belong to below poverty line or the middle class, they don't care much about privacy, because the money is threshold is coming between the privacy and the money, etc. But the people who are very rich and they can afford these kind of things, and their profile is very, they used to very concerning about their profile, like the politician and the high profile businessman, etc. So in case of those, the privacy is very important for them. So hospital like these are fancy or the very expensive hospitals, they can use, every hospital can use, but also we have to pay some cost to do something. And the banking and fintech, this is the very fine example. So we can use federated learning at the for the fraud detection. So what we can do is we can apply the trained machine learning model at the device. So it can detect the real time fraud before it happening by using the training and all. And we also do branch level intelligence. So let's suppose the one big bank, the SBI. We can take example of SBI. Let's suppose SBI is having branches across India. So SBI wants to apply some kind of intelligence by dividing the whole country into regions. Let's suppose we can take the state as a region, and the state wants to divide the area into district or some kind of divisions. So in that case, we can apply cluster for digital learning. So we can do clustering by the regions. So by using this approach, we can apply the branch level intelligence. The cybersecurity, very famous and very fine example for the federated learning. Telecom also, and the manufacturing and IoT also, smart devices and app also. So these are the problems Apple can solve. As I discussed, better fraud detection across multiple institutions, better cyber attack detection across distributed networks, better healthcare model across multiple hospitals, better predictive maintenance across factories. This is also we can do by applying the learning at the edges, and some better personalizing without collecting raw data centrally. This is I discussed many times. So these are the some points where I have although this is the research topic and this is the new kind of machine learning, so it will take some time to to for the fully functioning, but in some cases it is used. So this is the I have discussed. Uh, so basically this is the very fine example. The mechanism is itself introduced by the Google only. So Google is using this in their G board for next word prediction, emojization, out of vocabulary word discovery. Also used for assistant, Google Messages, smart replies, text prediction, etc. So this is the open example of Google. So very very famous organizations for big tech companies like Apple and many more companies use this mechanism to improve their product and improve the customer experience. So public evidence also show FLSB is used in a healthcare collaboration. So this can be identified by the researching about the recent articles and the work which is has been done in federated learning. So mostly federated learning. So the I have did literature survey where I have found कि mostly research papers which are published, they are taking healthcare as a application. So by doing that survey, I got to know कि federated learning is very useful in healthcare. So this is the big two lines where we can explain about where it is used. So basically, consumer scale on device AI. So this is the very fine example. Uh, as federated learning, where we are applying artificial intelligence at the edge devices. There we are using federated learning a lot. Also, cross organization privacy sensitive AI. Let's suppose we are working on multiple organization, but we don't want the privacy is the main our concern point. Or we have multiple companies, we are running multiple companies, but we don't want to disclose the what kind of work we are doing across the multiple companies, but we want to train some say the CR model. which we can generate revenue, or we can s- we want to apply some kind of learning and intelligence across the organization, but also we don't want to share the raw data, or the raw data to the some kind of central server. So what we can do is we can apply intelligence at the different organization, and the learnable parameters we can share to some one place or centralized place where we can train the central the sale level model, and we can perform our whatever task we want to do. So this is already discussed where is strongest adoption of federated learning. So big tech, consumer tech companies, as I have told, Google, Apple, and many more. Healthcare network and the research collaboration. This is I already discussed. Finance, insurance, and fraud decision team. The banking example I have told, and industrial IoT edge environments. This is the also well the fine example we can take. Uh, Mostly learning is we are doing as we are doing the learning at locally. So we can say ki this is mostly performing at the edges only. So I am taking Indian government as a example. Yeah, I did some kind of survey how about the how Indian government interested in federated learning. So uh, I found something which I will tell. We will discuss in next slide. So first discuss about this slide. So government data is often this is about the every kind of government, national, international. So Indian government data is often sensitive, distributed, and hard to centralize because of many privacy reasons and the many reasons. Government don't want to disclose their data to the publicly on and to publicly in the country or in the internationally also, and their data is very sensitive and also distributed, and it's hard to centralize because the data sometimes data can be very huge, and the this is the same thing I've told. So these reasons make federated learning relevant for the healthcare, public digital systems, large multi-institution environments. And for us, for the researcher and the if some kind of work company is working on, so they can. This is the great opportunity for them to offer privacy-aware AI solutions for the government use cases. So this is the proof I got by doing survey about the how government is interested in. So this is about the September 2024 National Healthcare Authority. Sorry for if I'm not correcting it's pronouncing it correctly. So this organization NHA signed some kind of MOU under Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. So this MOU includes a federated learning platform, open benchmarking platform, a quantity processing database, and constant management system for research. This this MOU includes a very high amount of payment. I guess it was in crores. So they signed a MOU with IIT Kanpur professor, which is doing which the professor did great research in federated learning, and the scholars under that professor are working in federated learning. So they are working on this making this AI preserving securing platform. Also in January 2028, NHA with the collaboration of ICMR and IIT Kanpur organized the Federated Learning Intelligence Hackathon. That hackathons is just organized in few months back in January itself. Also, IIT Kanpur launched both. I forgot the full full spelling of it. So sorry for that. So that is built around secure, constant framework and federated learning involved for healthcare research. So as I already discussed, Indian government is very interested in healthcare, and they are trying to apply federated learning in healthcare, and they are collaborating the high profile institutions, tier 1 institutions, old IITs like IIT Kanpur, and the uh, other organization like NHA, like ICMR, to do research on the federated learning. So also these are the challenges in federated learning. So what usually happens is we don't have, this is not true in every cases, but sometimes it's true. So what happens is data is very different one client to another. So in that case, learning make difficult because of this heterogeneity, or we can say ki diversity in the data. Also, training coordination it harder than centralized ML because we are not sharing the raw data. We are sharing the parameters. If we are not performing some kind of stable and the constant pattern learning mechanism, no, machine learning mechanism. Let's suppose one model is training on the different number of epochs and the different learning rate and different kind of data amount they are trained on. So if this is not constant and the fix, so these kind of problems happens. So because of these reasons, coordinations makes harder to coordinate. This is also I have told, mm, communication and system management can be expensive because these are some reasons. There are many more reasons I'll discuss later in coming videos. So this is true, but this is also true. Let me tell how. So we are not sharing the parameters. We are not sharing the raw data. We are sharing parameters. So this improves the privacy up to some extent. But what if we are not applying any kind of encryption and the security mechanism in transit? So in that case, model parameters can be compromised, and by compromising model parameters, someone can easily know what kind of the process is going on. So, but this can be prevented by using the appropriate security mechanism. This is also true. Real world deployment is technically more complex because we don't have, sometimes system don't have that kind of capabilities to run learning at the edges. But also the technology is growing in very fast way. So after some time, it will, the devices can have that much capabilities to run model locally. So for after some years, this will not gonna any problem, I guess. So this is the conclusion. So federated learning useful where data is distributed, sensitive, and hard to centralize. We can't blindly apply anywhere federated learning. So this is the example where practically we are using. Practically, this is implemented as far as I know, because there can be some many cases. So Google production use case. Also, as I told, India government and the research institutes, the IITs are very interested in the learning about the federated learning in the healthcare. So this is something please ignore. So thank you very much for listening me. If you have any kind of questions, you can ping me on my email or the LinkedIn. Everywhere, anywhere you can want. Also place my portfolio below, so you can reach me by the portfolio also. So you can check the references, about references what I have used, what I have discussed about. So I didn't give the proper citations after the point, which is the correct way to cite something. But sorry, forgive me. Okay, So thank you very much. We'll meet next time. Have a great day. Have a good sleep.